Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to Around the EcomiVerse, episode 49. We have the amazing Crypto Rain, Rirana Chavez, Doctor of Stuff, and we got special guest, Mr MC1.eth.
All right.
Woo! Welcome, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's great to see everybody here. Some real legends in the house. Real honor and pleasure to be here on episode 49.
Awesome.
go,
Yeah, we're
son.
so happy
Let's
to have
go.
you here. Yeah, it's going to be a really awesome show. We got some good comments going. I like to start off when we've got a new guest to sort of ask how did you get into VeVe, and did you find it through Omi?
Um, I'm probably one of the few guys, at least on this panel, who didn't find it through Omi. But so it was August of 2021. I was pretty heavy in the stock market, and for the most part, buying and sort of swing trading, if you will, not really day trading or anything. And I wanted some exposure in my portfolio to NFTs. So I was looking at all these different types of stocks, that have NFTs and trying to find one. And then I read this article that came out that said Marvel launches its first comic ever, Marvel Comics 1 from 1939, as an NFT, and it was readable and stuff, and this app called VeVe. So I got curious and I checked it, and then I was like, can't seem to find the right stock, but maybe I buy a bunch of these Marvel ones as like a stock unit. And back in the day, I did have a seven-figure, stock portfolio. So I said, okay, I have a budget, maybe about 30, 40,000. And I'll treat them as like stock units, and I'll buy a bunch of them. Like instead of buying so many shares of Apple or whatever, I'll just buy so many, MC1s. I did just that, man. And then, the rest is history, man. Now I have like 323 sets. So I think I bought a little bit more than what I planned for. But yeah, here we are, man. Today I hit level 9.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm loving it. So and you're obviously a master collector, and do you use like Discord? Are you in like the master collector group in Discord?
Yeah. I am. I was not the biggest fan of Discord. I hated Discord. I got ripped off once in Discord. There was somebody else's channel, some other company, and there was a drop, and I was waitlisted or whitelisted or whatever. And then suddenly I get this message saying, "Oh, we increased the supply. You can get it." And I was at I think it was McDonald's drive-through or something, and I was like an idiot, degen, right? I want it. I'm checking. And then oh my God, so just click the link, go and buy it. And then I'm waiting. I'm like, what the hell? Nothing came. Thankfully, I kind of figured out the situation fast enough to not get drained. And maybe I didn't have anything valuable in my wallet at the time anyway. So they probably thought, damn.
Yeah, there's a ton of those scams in Discord. I didn't really use Discord either, but I really like Discord, using it just for Midjourney.
Yeah. But let me just on the previous point though, I came here for VeVe, but I've got Omi now. I had just a little bit, just to be in the, have some, some skin in the game with everybody else. I bought like 4.5 million Omi and just sat on it. I bought it, I would say not at the peak, but halfway there. So 0.003 might have been my thing.
Oh yeah, nice.
Something like that, right? So,
not too bad. Yeah, not too bad.
And
so you staked that in the VeVe app?
Yes. So no, I bought some more. Yeah. So I dollar cost average down. I got it up to the a little over 10 million, and I put in the app, and I'm waiting for the utility to start up. As far as Omi's concerned, I'm in the wait and watch mode. I'm like show me and I'm in, right? Show me that we can do more with Omi. Show me that I've got some more utility with another 5 million Omi, 10 million Omi, whatever. I'll get it. So I'm not a Randy Chavez. But or a Jordan Riz, I guess. Dr. Stuff and Crypto Rain, I don't know, how big Omi guys you are, but
they're getting bigger. They've both been buying more Omi. Yeah,
is that right? I've been thinking about it too, man. Especially after the David Yu space where he said, Omi is very important to us, but there's some things that we kind of whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever the thing is, man. I want in before that thing,
Oh, was that that was a couple of days ago, right? David in the Spaces a couple of days ago.
Yeah, tell me what the thing is, or just tell me when
I
the
can
thing
talk
finishes.
a little bit about it. I can just say that I personally believe it might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
Give me a second, guys. Let me
expiring
just cool on my room a
this
little
year. This year is what I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. You know, I'm not on the coaching team. I'm just guessing. So I think next year is going to be a big year for Omi. I'm obviously very, very heavily invested, and I want to succeed.
bit.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm also diversified. I've got quite a few other alts now, and they've all been
Yeah.
pumping, which I know heaps of people here
Yeah.
either all in on Omi or they have a bunch of other alts as well, and they've seen those pump. And definitely like Randy, I think is in sort of the group that's sort of watch everyone else's alts pump while Omi just sort of sits flat. But Randy, you're so good and strong in your conviction, right, for Omi that you're not like chasing green candles, right, which is something Crypto Rain always talks about. That so many people, some people want to chase green candles, and you know, Randy is probably going to be right, and he's going to end up getting that big payoff where all these people chasing green candles, they might get short-term rises, and maybe it'll go well for them. Who knows? But
yeah, hopefully the VeVe's 10th anniversary will all be flying in Randy's jet to the party somewhere.
That's right. And I've got to mention something here because we've got a lot of comments here, but obviously everyone's seen the news that Ecomi has hired Foster
Yes.
as a community manager.
Well done, Foster.
Well done. Cheers.
I'm so
Love
excited
that.
about him.
I'm a huge fan of Foster. I was so excited about that news.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we got.
Let me share one more thought with you guys. So when I actually, bought Omi on the exchange, and when I first bought it, and also when I put it into the app, I watched Foster's videos. Foster has, no disrespect to anybody else who made videos. I haven't seen them, but Foster's video was excellent. Very, very smooth, very easy to understand, to move, to buy Omi, to move Omi, all that stuff. Loved it, man. So I couldn't be happier, man. I had the opportunity to meet Foster a couple of times. Amazing guy.
Yeah, we love Foster. We've had Foster on around the EcomiVerse once or twice. And yeah, he's an awesome guy. We actually chat with him a lot. We've got a group we chat with him in.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
So everyone put in your vote for VeVe Community Manager and put like hashtag Randy on there.
So those are two separate roles, are they?
The perfect duo.
Yes, they are separate roles.
So they're going to have a community manager for VeVe and a community manager for Ecomi. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
Can we just pause right there and just recognize the fact that they have hired a community manager for Ecomi?
Yes.
Right? Speaks to the fact that they do have plans for the Omi token and that they're
when is that date?
Revving this up, right? And we got this expiry something right before they can talk about Omi more openly, which I think by the end of this year, like you were saying, Jordan, or something, they're going to a crypto event in France in January. Yeah. And I imagine that that will kind of be the kickoff of them starting to talk more and more openly about Omi.
Yeah, crypto XR, I believe, is event.
Yep.
It's January 27th, I believe. So
25th through 27th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's definitely the last part of January. And so, I think some crazy stuff's going to happen. And if you guys are watching the Omi wallets, like there's some large transactions of movements of Omi, and we don't know what that is. I have some ideas. Randy, do you want to speculate at all?
Speculate on the VeVe community manager.
Have you seen some of the large Omi transactions moving around? Like it could be Omi. Maybe it's for the getting ready.
There was one large transaction that went to the Burn wallet, and it might have been one of Ecomi's like sub wallets. Like it wasn't their main wallet though. It wasn't like, so I don't know if somebody accidentally did something like not good and they accidentally burned a whole, like it was like tens of millions of Omi. But yeah, there's some other ones. It seems like it is on a bigger exchange, or it is on the like the wallet I think was was it KuCoin, or was it whatever one of the wallets was. And it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It has it. So it's I don't know exactly where else it would go, but I forget where I saw that. If anyone has that tweet, or if anyone has that, I don't know if it was Omi Watcher group or Omi Whale Watcher. It was one of those guys though.
Awesome. Okay, so we're not sure.
I know a number of people who are just waiting to pick up more Romy.
So Patient Hodler's going to the Crypto XR event. I believe he's booked tickets.
Nice.
Right, so there's a bunch of guys that are already going to the event. So that's going to be awesome. Because David, you and Dan Crothers are both going to Crypto XR. And it is primarily a crypto event, not a NFT event. So that's something really interesting. But we did have David you on here, and he did say that he's going to talk about both. So it's going to be VeVe and Ecomi.
Nice.
Yeah. So Mr. MC1, is there anything specific you're stacking at the moment?
Not really stacking. I mean, I bought. I loaded up early. Man, I'm not a guy who chases green candles. So I picked up some altcoins like 3 months ago. So I got into, I bought a bunch of stuff. So I picked up some Avalanche, I picked up some Stellar, I picked up some Immutable, picked up a bunch of stuff, right? Anything that I felt had like some applications outside of NFTs and, just the coin itself. And so now I'm doing a little more homework on it. I want to, start looking at more of that stuff and getting into more of, picking up the coins for blockchains that actually have some utility, have some major partnerships, and some applications and stuff. So reading up on it, it's almost like I'm at a point where I want to build a network of people who can give me that alpha and build a community of people around to understand that. I've written to some of those companies too. So I've written to Avalanche, I've written to Stellar, I've written to a bunch of people, just trying to, they don't know who I am. They probably think I'm some crazy guy on the internet just saying, hey, tell me more, right? But we'll see, man. I want to learn. Maybe, you guys, obviously you guys know a lot about this. So we'll hit you guys offline as well to figure out what are some resources to learn more. But I really think the future of our planet is with blockchains as well. It might take 10 years for all of this to kind of become more mainstream. But when you think about companies like JP Morgan Chase and Citi and these guys who are experimenting right now, the big boys have got their feet in it and they're fooling around. They've got teams of people, they've hired smart people, and they're building in the space. And I think, a lot of people who've gotten into crypto are speculating on the coin going up and down based on stochastics and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, if there's real world utility, like for example with Citi, if what they're saying is 5 or 10% of all FX transactions, on their network become blockchain based, right? Whichever blockchain it's on, the coin is going to be used to pay, some kind of fee or participation, right? So, so those are the ones. I would love any advice from you guys, man. Let me just shut up here and listen. Right?
So, Crypto Rain, did you want to explain to Sanjay your course and some information about that?
Well, yeah. So my background before crypto was investing for 20 years, and your background was business and investing. A lot of background in tech and other things. I did create a course to kind of accelerate people that came in like me from a business background, and even people new, to shave off 18 months as they discover what crypto is all about and blockchain, and why blockchain allows the internet to do things it couldn't do before, and why this tech revolution is really going to happen. It's not going to happen because of meme coins, though. It's not that you can make money on meme coins. I don't go that route. I go in, okay, what is the technology path that Web3 needs blockchain for to unlock things that the internet can do? And that's a lot of the altcoins that I invest in. If you think about it, Omi is along that lines, because I think this idea of digital collectibles is going to change collectibles across the world. And VeVe is positioned better than any other company. So a lot of times when I'm evaluating projects, I think, okay, what's the use case of this? And why do we need blockchain for this? And then evaluate, okay, I'm looking for companies, projects that have a narrative that makes sense to me. Like Ecomi and VeVe's narrative made sense to me since their pre-sale of, oh my gosh, we're going to have these digital NFTs from top intellectual properties. And just as people collect real items, what if they could collect digital items and keep them in their wallet, was the pitch essentially they made back in 2018. Made sense to me. Their delivery of that in the VeVe app knocked my socks off when I saw it. and they had Batman black and white, and you could like put it in augmented reality and you could move it around. I was like, holy crap, this is better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And top intellectual property. Like at the time they just had Batman, and like that was one of the biggest IPs anybody had landed in digital collectibles.
Yeah.
It's since been upgraded where it's like, oh, it's just Batman, but it, you know, that was a big deal. But now they have VeVe and Marvel and so many other IPs that I think sometimes people take that for granted, right? Because there are some other projects. They're like, yay, we got one IP that's in the top 50, right? And VeVe has like 20 in the top 50, if not more than that. So that's what I look at in blockchain, what it will unlock. So I'm diversified into a bunch of things. I don't have as much Omi as Randy and Jordan do. And I hate it and I love it at the same time because it like pushes me, the competitive side. But I always love other people's success too. And I know what that much Omi is going to add up to in the future.
Yeah.
People are flooding and scared about Omi right now. And oh my gosh, it's at the all-time lows. Well, it's simple. Like literally I buy low and sell high. So do I want, if I believe in Omi in the future, do I want to buy cheap or do I want to buy a lot more expensive? Oh, it went cheap. Wait, so it went cheap. What do I do when it gets cheap? Oh yes, I buy. And then when it gets expensive and you're tempted to buy way more, well, that's when you start selling. And it's funny how simple that is, but simple doesn't mean easy, which is what this quote is all about. By the way, shout out to Jordan. This is one of his t-shirts. For those who want one, he has a link to the store. You can get this and around the EcomiVerse t-shirts and other things. So thanks for the t-shirt. I love it.
Thank you, Rain. I've also got these mugs. It's got a, I don't know if it's going to zoom. There you go. Omi burning on there.
That's nice. I love it. Oh, I love that mug, man. I need that one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Please,
guys. I spent like
Where do you buy it?
What's that?
What's the website?
Yes, OmiMoon.com. I literally spent 2 weeks nonstop on all this merch, and then I haven't sold anything yet, guys. So please, someone go buy something.
I need it. I was going to say, Rain, just one other thing for you is, as I'm reading more and more about it, there's sort of two sides to transactions. One is consumer transactions, where consumers either interact with each other over the business. And then there's another whole category of transactions that go on between businesses. And I was reading about something, what they call as RWAs, real world assets. Mm-hmm. And they want to take as many real world assets as possible, whether it's cash coin, whether it's gold, whether it's, other types of assets, and create them all, tokenize all of them, get them onto a blockchain. And they're not really looking at it necessarily as a consumer play, but they're looking at it as a business play. So let's say, the amount of transactions that go on between a Bank of America and let's say Fidelity, or, between a Vanguard and some other bank. And my sense is that they're going to take, the banks trust each other, right? And for them, like, why do you want to move assets in any other way other than through a blockchain? Like, it's just so convenient. It's easy. So my belief is that there would be, millions and millions of transactions going on between institutions, banks and wealth companies and also supply chain, And my sense is that will create the trust, it'll grow the ecosystem, create the trust between these parties. And little by little, they're going to, get more and more comfortable with that B2B transaction and volume kind of translating to a B2C engagement in some of these newer spaces. I mean, gaming and coin and NFTs and all that stuff is all, that's already there, right?
This upcoming bull run, gaming, this idea of ownership, for those games that are not adopting this way, in 3 or 4 years, they won't stand a chance against those AAA level games that have ownership. Because if someone can choose a game with ownership and not ownership, and the idea of ownership is going to bring 10x the amount of money into it, because we saw this even with Axie Infinity, that you had businesses that were then taking millions of dollars and buying land. They were then and accounts, and then they were managing or teams of Axies, and then they were managing people in the Philippines to play those accounts, and there was money there. I think a lot of people don't realize that the amount of money, they're just looking, the amount of gaming money, and that's going to roll over to blockchain. I think it's actually going to 10x the amount of money in gaming, because there will be businesses that will be able to work within the different games. So more money will come in. And so that's a huge aspect. all in itself. And this next boom, a lot of that is going to start to come to play pretty fast. A lot of these other businesses tokenizing assets, if you think about it, why is your car title not on the blockchain? It should be. It's going to take 4 to 10 years for that to happen because governments, right?
Has to be.
Your house, it's going to be 4 to 10 years. It won't even be this bull run. It's just
not 4 to 10 years in Texas anyway. I want to tell you. So I met a guy called Peter Vogel. So Peter used to be a professor. He's a lawyer by trade. He used to be a professor at SMU here in Dallas. He's basically one of the lead, legal guys to go to for any kind of blockchain-related disputes and all the other stuff. He's been on some of the most iconic cases. He was hired by the Texas, state representatives to basically advise on real land being on the blockchain, and they actually are working on it. So literally your actual land transactions, not freaking metaverse land, your real house title, all that stuff being on blockchain. And they're working out, and I mean, they'll have something for the digital side too, but they're working on it right now, man. They're taking it seriously.
So
it's not that far away, not in Texas anyway.
Have you heard of this company called Provenance Blockchain?
No, it sounds familiar. Go for it.
So they've created a blockchain, and what they are doing is they are putting home equity line of credit or home equity, line of credit HELOCs on the blockchain, and they're securitizing them. Like their whole point is, they talk about in 2008, one of the biggest things with the recession, right, is when these mortgage-backed securities were dropping in value. They were reaching out to the owners and trying to get a majority vote to start foreclosing on some of the homes, but they couldn't find all of the owners of those mortgage-backed security shares to be able to foreclose, right? And so that's one of the things is, then the other concern was those rating agencies that were saying, hey, these are AAA rated securities. They're only doing, they do like basically like a transaction test where they only look at like maybe 5% of the portfolio or less, right? To see if the underwriting meets the standards. And then they kind of project that out and say, okay, yes, with the amount of loans that we looked at, here's our comfort level or confidence level, right, of how accurate the underwriting standards are here. But on the blockchain, it's 100% accuracy. And not only that, you can reach out immediately to everyone to do these votes digitally and everything. So it's like, it cuts out the middleman. It cuts out the rating agencies. You don't need it. Everything is completely verified. And it just creates a more efficient capital markets there. And we're going to see this in a lot more things, right? Those securitizations, all of those things, real world assets, like it's coming, and crypto's coming along with it.
Yeah, I think, that's the perfect kind of way, right? You have a real world application, and crypto is just the enabler of it. And that creates organic demand versus people just buying stuff and hoping that, dumping it on the next guy, that's just artificial, right? You want like a real underlying kind of action on it. I love that. A lot of use cases, and I'm just like, I'm so enamored by what people are doing in the space and how they're evolving. And I think there's a lot to learn there. I feel like I know very little, and I want to, learn more and more.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys all really get it. It's just crazy because talking to you guys, it sounds like you've all done the research. You all really understand where the world's moving. And like, this is such a big deal that like the everyday average person still doesn't get this. I've been trying to explain it to my family for like weeks or months now. And, they're sick of hearing about crypto. They just turn off. So I can't talk about crypto with the family. Crypto Rain, what were you going to say?
Well, it is funny. People don't pay attention until they see massive green candles. And then when they see massive green candles, they're like, oh, maybe I was thinking about that wrong. And then they open up their mind to really evaluate what it is, right? Because we think, like, I shut my mind to Bitcoin because somebody explained it to me very poorly. And I thought, oh, you can just print off an unlimited supply. Why would that be anything? And then when it went from 2,000 to 6,000, I was like, maybe I have a wrong take on this. It should not be at 6,000 if my understanding was correct. And isn't that what you go through, is when people see the next evolution? Because what it really is, and some people just think about Bitcoin and they get involved in the argument, is Bitcoin going to overtake gold? Is it going to overtake the US dollar? And I don't know the answers to that. Probably gold, US dollar, I don't know, maybe. But that's irrelevant, because what Bitcoin did was unlock some capabilities, which then were furthered with ETH to allow smart contracts. And so this idea of blockchain coupled with cryptographical encryption is now allowing the internet to do things it couldn't have done before. And that is what's is really creating this huge technological revolution that's going to change video gaming. It's going to change how ownership is held in different things. It's going to cut out a lot of middlemen and make a lot of things faster, more efficient, more verifiable. And that's exciting. And that's the revolution that I try to participate in as an investor. And as I dug in, it took me, though, a solid year to realize that was what crypto was really all about. And so that is some of the stuff I go over in the course and just help people understand what is really going on here, why there's so much money here, how to think about things so that you can buy low and sell high. Like I was talking about Miria when it was like 0.17 cents and all these people are like, oh, that's so stupid. It's just going to go down to zero. And now that it's 3x, they're like, oh, let me buy some Miria. And it's like, why don't people buy when it's cheap? Well, because when it's cheap, they're scared. And they need confirmation from everyone else that there's some value there, which is what's going on with OMI right now. Like these prices are amazing. I just bought some more OMI. I sold some other things, bought more OMI. I even partnered with a bunch of Cardano and bought more OMI. And people are like, what are you doing? Cardano's up and OMI's down. I was like, yes. Isn't that the whole point?
I need to do that too, man. I did well with these alts that I put in 3 months ago and a month back. I'm seriously thinking about exiting half those positions and just putting it in OMI, but we'll see.
It is scary to buy when it's low, and it's gone all the way back down to what its lowest point was from before, and it could break lower. And if it did, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, oh, thank heavens the stars. Because I look for things where I feel I wouldn't do that if I didn't believe so strongly in the project behind it. It's only because I think fundamentally the project behind it is almost as solid as they come in the crypto space. And so then when I see it, what I feel is a super solid company, other people disagree with me on that. That's okay. Other people can be wrong. I like to then buy when it gets cheaper. And so I don't pray at night and say, please prices go up. Well, I'm like, please prices go down. And when the heavens answer those prayers, I don't run around with my head, cut off screaming, oh my gosh. I'm like, thank you. I didn't think this would happen again, but thank you that it did.
Look, I just want to show you guys something really quickly. Can you guys see my screen? It should come up.
Yes.
This is Ron from Ron's Crypto Therapy. I was on Danny the Bull's channel with him a week or two ago. So OMI basically hit a double bottom from 7 months ago. So it looks like he thinks that the bottom is fully in. You can see down here, it hit almost the exact same line here. It's a little bit off it, but so we've basically double bottomed. So I think that we are pretty much the bottom's in now, and hopefully, not financial advice, of course, that we are on the way back up. And yeah, that's from Ron from Crypto Therapy. So it's not just me saying it. So he does a lot. I think he said he traded OMI about 30-40 times, and he got it right every single time.
Nice.
So he knows what he's talking about in terms of TA.
I think though, if you combine that with the fact, so there's a super low sentiment, but we've already seen in August when they announced soft staking, right, where now you can get MCP points just for staking OMI, how that pumped from 0.0055 to 0.0015 within a week and a half to 2 weeks, right? So there are people waiting on the sidelines, just waiting for something, even like you, Sanjay, you just said, you're kind of waiting for them to see, put more emphasis on OMI. Well, if that expiry thing, whenever that stops, which I'm thinking, again, if they're going to a crypto conference in January, I think it expires in between those points, right? That all of a sudden this could be the bottom, could be, right? And if they start talking about that, and then there is more utility, people start to get that, then the sentiment rises, and then people start FOMOing. That is the funniest thing, because they're like, I thought it was going to go lower. It was going to go lower. They're waiting on the sidelines. Then it goes up, and they're like, I'm going to wait a little bit, and then it goes up some more. It doesn't go back down, and then it's already doubled by the time they're like, oh crap, I got to get in, and then they get in at that point, but which pushes it even higher, right? And then again, as long as that utility is there and there's actual meat behind the reason that the token has increased in value, that people want to hold on to the token now, you're going to see higher lows and then higher highs, and it's going to continue in with the bull run.
So let me ask you guys a question. I agree with you completely. Have you guys used an Oculus Quest 2 or 3, or have you guys done any?
Yeah, those
Jordan
games
I'm
are
on
pretty
it
fun.
right now.
top of it.
Yes. Yes, Randy? No?
Yeah, those games are pretty fun. I enjoy those.
All right. So I'll tell you one thing, man. I really think all of these NFTs that are out there, they, not all, but some of the NFTs that get a second lease at life in the metaverses will do well. Because I put the, my wife had never, really tried on an Oculus before. So yesterday, I just, for shits and giggles, she normally doesn't, she doesn't come upstairs here. She doesn't do a whole bunch of stuff. And shits and giggles, I told her, hey, do you want to try this Oculus Quest? She said, yes. I was like, oh, really? Okay, let's go. She always says no, but I always ask, right? She came. So I'd set up my, pad in Spatial, which has a lot of my VeVe stuff in it as well. Not, not as NFTs. I put, screenshot, screen captured, all that kind of stuff. And then some real NFTs, right? Like my artwork on all these things. Put it on her head. I mean, the first reaction was priceless, man. She's like, oh my God, this is so real. Because she was literally in like a penthouse and she could see the walls. She was like looking up like that, like, and seeing the paintings. They're like beautiful. She's an artist, right? That quality of that immersiveness of that experience blew her mind away, man. So then I said, okay, let me take you to my yacht. So I kind of set that up and she was like, oh, you could see the water here? This is so good. And I said, you can even drive the jet skis. And she was just so taken aback. And then I took her into another pad. I showed her a bunch of stuff, galleries and stuff. And she said, it's so incredible. And, I'm telling you what VeVe's vision of building out VeVeVerse, we think about all the components, right? Each component by itself is fine. They're good. They're a leader in digital collectibles. Great. They've got the coin. Great. They're building a VeVeVerse, a metaverse where these assets can come in along with accessories. And hopefully, right, we don't know the exact specifics of what, hopefully you can buy some of those accessories with Omi, right? Now that together forms a very powerful ecosystem. And then when you say, okay, now I've got this ecosystem where you've got Disney, DC, James Bond stuff, you've got all the artists in there, and more stuff coming, right? There's lots and lots of stuff coming in. Now you've got like a very powerful ecosystem, man, of immersiveness, which to me, if you connect that to Omi, why would you not have, like, I know you guys, no diss against you guys, right? I mean, you guys are all traders, man. You bought Omi without any utility, right? With a future plan. And a lot of you trade and you watch and you do stuff like that. But you know what? I believe there will be kick-ass real utility, not financial advice for anybody. There will be kick-ass real utility for Omi, both in the app and in VeVeVerse. And when that happens, I think people are going to say, when that thing was 0.00 whatever, I should have picked us up. That's just, it's an honest opinion, man. Like, that's it. I'm not any advisor or anything.
You mentioned before that, hey, I'm going to wait until they have more utility and then I'll buy. So it sounds like you're pretty convinced that they will, not just in the app, but in VeVeVerse, and other places like the Fish have already picked it up. And you're going to have other places that'll pick Omi up in general because it's layer 2, there's no gas fees. And on the end of that, we did mention before, Foster was mentioned as, he was named Ecomi community manager. And if people thought that he was going to be an incompetent leader, they would have sold, but the price has gone up. So it seems like the pieces are going together, that in conjunction with the blockchain team. How close are you to buying more?
Well, I can't disclose that. But I had a conversation, said differently, I had a conversation with a friend last night who's looking to buy a couple $100 million Omi. And, obviously I'm not buying a couple $100 million Omi, but yeah, we had the conversation around strategies to pick up in a manner in which we don't raise the market. And yeah, I mean, we talked about a variety of strategies, man. I think my friend might hit one of you guys up to kind of discuss more options there with how that can go down. You have to do it in a slow, steady, flashy manner. Not get on the Randy Chavez show, any of these shows, and talk about it. You got to just keep your mouth shut and pick up a little by little, day by day, and and get it done hopefully before that event. By the way, look, very simply put, I trust David, I trust Dan. I know there are a lot of people that don't, and each one should have their own perspective on it. I trust David and Dan, period. So when David says there's a reason why there's some expiry of something that needs to happen, whatever. I don't know the exact words that he used. But basically, there's some event, there's an expiry of that event, after which there will be stuff going down. I believe it. I don't know what that expiry is. I don't know what date that is, but I believe him. And I believe that these guys, and the OMI token is important to these guys. Simple as that. So, Randy, to answer your question, I'm in the active process of evaluating some options, and I can't talk about them.
Yeah. Are you going to go to the Crypto XR event?
I want to. I'm working on a couple of deals. As you guys know, I work in private equity, and it's all deal-based. And I've been working on deals for a long time, and I'm waiting for one to consummate. And right now I'm working on a pretty big deal. If it gets done by end of the year, then yes, I am definitely going, and it's going to be a pretty cool party. But if it doesn't get done, then I probably will end up just staying focused and cranking on the deals that I'm
just
next in
imagine
the
how
pipeline
much
kind of
more
thing.
OMI you can buy if you don't pay for that ticket now. So it's like an extra $1 million or $2 million in your pocket.
I think I'll survive, man. I think I've got enough miles to fly to Paris without using.
That's true. You will have all your business miles.
Yeah, I've
Even
got
cost
enough
you a
hotel
cent.
points. I've got enough, airline miles and shit to go
Yeah.
Paris, stay, and all that
You
stuff.
got probably 2 years worth of hotel points from all that business time.
Yeah, from some time back. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can figure that out. That's not an issue. I don't think that's the issue.
For me, the cost was too high. I was like, man, do I want 2 million more OMI, or do I want to go to France? I'm like, 2 million more OMI. Say OMI goes to like 10 cents. Too expensive to go to the France meetup.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, so for me, people can call me whatever you want, right? You can say you can call me any effing thing you want. I've been called many things in my life, and I honestly don't care. So I'm a big believer in VeVe. I came in for something. I saw the delays. I was pissy about it. I wrote to the team about it. I saw some changes happening and some things happening enough to get me comfortable. Mm-hmm. We're good. Then VeVeVerse for me was, okay, why do you keep talking about it? What's in it? I'm in the first 30 users, beta users. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've played in that VeVeVerse, and I know the potential of the VeVeVerse. I've put a golden moment in my VeVeVerse pad, and I've seen the bloody thing shine. And then I put a light on top, and then I saw it shine more. And then I said, can I put another golden moment behind it? And so when my avatar goes close to it, can I see the reflection of that thing in this thing? Yes, I can.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That's
so I arranged all my golden moments in one room such that when you stand in the right angle, you can see the partner statue in every one of them.
That's awesome.
So, Mr MC1 looks like you've got a bunch of people that want to meet
absolutely.
you.
Philip, would love to meet sometime. Yeah, for sure, man. By the way, I got my San Diego Comic-Con tickets too. So there will be a MC1 party in San Diego for Comic-Con next year, man. I got my tickets. I'm in. And I don't have all the days. Big shout out to Mahalo Joe, who got me Thursday and Sunday. It was awesome, man. We've got such an amazing community. Literally, Rolex calls me and says, hey, do you want these San Diego Comic-Con tickets? Mahalo's got a spot open. He's got a session open. So I said, yes. 30 seconds later, Mahalo calls me and says, look, do you have an account? I said, I don't have an account. So he opens an account for me with all my info live and then gets me tickets. But yeah, I'm in, man. Like, book your tickets, guys. There's a party going down in San Diego next year.
Woo! Well, look, if OMI goes well in the next few months, I'll be coming to America next year to meet you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go. Let's do
it. Do it. Alrighty, so let's see. We've got some more comments here. We actually had a good question back here. Let me see if I can find it.
Sure.
Okay, this one. Anyone who wants to take this one? Dr. Stuff? What do you think?
I mean, like I responded in the chat, like I haven't seen anything, I haven't seen any tweets or anyone saying I'm not buying VeVe NFTs because Marvel has this ideology or so I don't necessarily seeing it bleed into the NFT market. Like at least at this point in time, I haven't seen it in the collectible market. I haven't seen anyone, like at those things, the Comic Cons or anything bringing this up. So I'm not at this point in time, at least, like not concerned about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much about it. I don't know how much because I watch all the Marvel films and everything, and they seem relatively balanced. Yeah, I haven't seen too much.
I'd fight you on that. I don't know if they're really that balanced. I love
which one's
the
Randy?
new one, the Marvels. It was really. I want to go see it again.
I haven't seen it. Is that the one with the woke ideology? Is that what's happening?
Well, Disney in general has that, which is I hope they recognize that they're going away from, or that they should go away from that. But as far as that affecting VeVe and Ecomi sales, it would be negligible. Like it'd be, you'd have to have somebody that is so ready to die on this hill and pontificate on the fact that, oh no, I'm not doing anything Disney until they get rid of the wokeness. But they would have also had to have been a big Disney fan, at least enough to be in the VeVe and Ecomi space. Like nobody knows about us yet. So the amount of people that would not buy because of that is fairly small.
Well, maybe I'll put maybe I'll answer slightly differently. By the way, guys, I'm actively in the process of kind of helping somebody buy something, and I'll go run something, and they'll do a background check and all the shit to surface. Oh, he said this, he said that. But look, without taking any names, Disney has been a company that's survived 100 years. They've survived a lot of different types of challenges, and they've built an empire like none other. So, there may be issues with management or management philosophy in specific years or in specific time frames. But I honestly believe that wokeness is not going to call brokeness. You know what I mean? At least for Disney. It might happen elsewhere, but these guys are going to, might affect, things. Obviously fans vote with their pockets. And I don't want to specifically comment on anything there, but yeah, I mean, the Disney franchise will last. At least my belief is another 100 years, man. They're not going anywhere. They've made the turn to digital. They've continued to grow all their other assets, and they've got a media empire like you would not believe. And they've got, the whole innovation cycle, the Disney accelerator and all that stuff. It's big, man. They're not going anywhere, They're not going
they just got Avatar, right? Like Avatar is so huge for VeVe.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys go for the drop? Anyone get it here?
Not yet.
I saw some awesome, I don't know what you call them, like some fan-made videos with the Avatar. I don't know what you call him, the big guy that flies. It was really, really, really cool. Have you guys seen that one? I think they have the jungle, what's it called? That movie with the dinosaurs.
Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Jurassic Park door opens and it comes into like this big world and it shows the dinosaurs, but it also shows the Avatar characters flying around and stuff. It's really, really beautiful. It's really cool.
Doc, your mic's off.
Yeah, the video is incredible. Is all I was saying. Like I watched that, and like I think I've watched it like 7 or 8 times. It is.
I watched it a couple times.
Man, it is so phenomenal. And like then when you talk about like Sanjay getting that VR headset, right? It's one thing to see it on your phone or just watch it on video, and it's another thing to be immersed by
whole different environment.
Immersiveness. Oh gosh, I am excited. I am so excited. So I don't have a VR headset yet. I am waiting until the Apple Vision Pro comes out and the price.
Probably a good idea.
Waiting for the price to drop.
Tried my jet ski and my yacht with the Quest 3, and I got dizzy. And I don't get dizzy. I don't have motion sickness and all this other stuff. I mean, I'm usually pretty good, but maybe it's just the controls and that were a little janky or whatever. I got a little dizzy. I had to sleep for like 30 minutes or whatever. Sleep it off, and then I was fine. So
I was gonna say, how's
Vision Pro? I think that'll be a good one.
How's the Quest 3 been going? Because I've still got my the old Quest 2, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I really want to get a Quest 3 sooner or later.
I don't think you should. Personally, I don't think you should.
Wait for the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah. If the only reason I bought the Quest 3 was my Quest 2 kind of just stopped working one fine day. I just pressed every button and it wouldn't come on.
Oh no, yeah.
It just wouldn't come on. So I was like, okay.
The battery might have died.
I can't take it anyway. I just threw it out in the garbage can, believe it or not. But yeah, that's why I got the Quest 3. And especially since VeVeVerse has come out, and I said, okay, let me get this one. So yeah, anyway, so that's why I kind of rushed into it. Otherwise, I was also planning on waiting for the Apple Vision Pro.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, OBL.
Yeah, OBL.
Yeah, she's
that
amazing.
just makes me laugh so
Amazing.
much. Her comment there, like that is so. She is extremely bullish on that, and I just was like, it's like if someone mentions VR. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Someone starts talking about VR, and OBL pops up, and she's like, "What about it? What's going on? I love this."
Let me tell you guys a story, okay? So 2021, we're talking 2021 December. There was a small group of people in VeVe, about 30 of us, I think, or maybe 35 of us, who all have VR headsets and wanted to party. And, I think it was sort of the height of all this COVID stuff. And so we actually had a party. There was a VR, we all went into VR chat. And then OBL, there was Tails and there is Sharky, Kermit, Omi, Max, and Janie, a lot of them. And then we first kind of had a party. We were hanging around chatting with each other. Then we went to somebody else's pad. Then we played like a Spider-Man-like game where you kind of put your controller, and when you kind of click going up there, next thing you know is your avatar's on top of the building and you're looking down, and then you click. So we and then we played like a fighting game. It starts level 1 is like a low level knife fight kind of thing. And then as you go to each level, you get guns and bazookas and you try to blow up each other. That was fun. I got to tell you, man, there is a massive, there's a pretty massive kind of hangover from that after that. I'm telling you.
I'm down for that. I'm down. I think they said they want to do New Year's Eve this year. I'll be down for that.
Yeah, I'm ready for it, man. If you guys want to do New Year's Eve, VeVe New Year's Eve. In fact, I can, if you want to do it in VR chat, that's fine. But I can also, if everybody's open to getting spatial, I can host you on my yacht, and then we can also do like with the jet skis and stuff, and then we can also go to the penthouse and kind of go to multiple.
We're gonna have to investigate. We'll do this offline after this. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Just go to spatial. That's all you need. Just get spatial on any device, and if you can connect it into your, it's not hard to connect into your Quest 3 either. And you can come hang out with me.
Awesome, that'd be fun. Yeah, I love VR. I haven't been using the VR too much, just on occasion, but it's really great for social. I found during COVID, like you said, we had all these lockdowns and stuff, especially in Melbourne, Australia. Here was super tight. We were locked down, like you couldn't leave 5-kilometer radius. That was the rules, right? And it was nuts. It went crazy here. So I loved being able to use the VR headset to get into like little social gatherings and parties. And like I had a lot of fun, and I was up chatting for people to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and it was crazy because we had people all around the world, and it'd be like these people have just finished a party and they're high on cocaine or whatever, and they're just talking their head off. It was the funniest. You get the funniest people in there. Really hilarious people you just don't expect. And like there's ballers, there's like crazy people, there was all sorts of different characters, and it just kept me social. It was great.
Yeah, VeVe Fembam was one of my first friends there. Tasha's a friend there. OBL, Tails, all these guys, and we're all follow. Like if you come into VR chat and you follow one of us, through the follows, you can like who I follow, you can see like everybody else in who's on a lot of people in VeVe and stuff. Dr. Prophet obviously is a very big guy in VR and all that stuff.
He is.
Yeah, surfer dude.
There was I want to do that party with every single time zone for New Year's, starting with like New Zealand and then going all the way to Hawaii or anywhere that's past there. That seems
like in the VeVeVerse, or like what do you want to do? Like
so they used to have those flights. I don't know if they still do, where you could take like a jet and you could party in every single time zone, but you're kind of stuck with the same people. I feel like I'd want to go, and if you could do it in like the metaverse, where it's like go to Koreatown, and then you go to somewhere in I don't know, so I like Abu Dhabi, somewhere else, and I just been doing that on each timeline in each country would be really fun. I mean, every country is wild. You can't do that, but
So when Omi gets to $1, Randy, we're gonna go on your jet, and you're gonna
That's
take us
right.
around the world.
That's
well,
We
I
go
already made a
everywhere, man.
promise that
Randy.
I would get Lindsay Sterling to perform for us at $1. So I mean, we should probably do that before then. You know, $1 is gonna be a lot. I don't need that much to have her perform. But however much it costs her, that'll be fun.
That's
We'll
pretty cool,
all
man.
put in to get a jet that we can share for New Year's Eve.
I'll contribute towards your gas, guys, with 10 million Omi.
That's funny, yeah. Alrighty. We've got some very funny comments.
Yeah, Mike H is always a good one for that. He always makes me laugh. I have them.
That's so funny, man.
But Rain, can you flex the guns again? Because seriously, he was flexed before we started.
Oh,
Look at that, guys. That's impressive.
Yo, getting it.
Getting it. Yeah.
Mr. MC1, who has commented or that people, so maybe someone that you've interacted with, whether it's on YouTube comments or on Twitter that you haven't met yet that you really want to meet?
Well, Jordan for sure, right? With Jordan, I hadn't spoken to him. Like I've been around for like 2 years, and the first time we spoke in Spaces was like just literally, like what was it, like a couple of weeks back, Jordan? Like we connected.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah, we got to chat." He said, "Come on to the show." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, man. Would love to." And then I think O'Malley's another one. I've spoken to O'Malley several times and stuff, and have not met him IRL. So he's someone that I really want to meet IRL as well. Dive Jedi and Tails, I haven't met as well. There's a lot of people, man. There's lots of people. Jay East is another guy who I hear in Spaces all the time. And just a super cool guy. We've shared gifts and stuff, for the last couple of years. Like I've given stuff, he's given me stuff, and so these are, Dive sent. Dive Jedi is so incredible, man. He sent my niece. One fine day, my niece said she wants to be a marine biologist. So I said, I know a guy who dives with sharks. So, I reached out to Dive Jedi and I said, hey, would you be open to chatting with my 8-year-old niece for a little bit? And it was so fascinating, and he agreed, and we did this chat, and he explained so many things to her. And then at the end of it, he says, look, I'm going to send you a little gift. And he sent her like these old bills, like a 100-year-old bill, a big bill, a currency bill, with something that he painted on top of, like one of the sharks on it, and a bunch of them. So she was just so excited, and they've got it framed and stuff. It's quite an amazing community, man. Like, to answer your question, like there's not one person, man. There's like so many people. Well, OBL and Green Thumb, would love to meet them. I haven't met them. But yeah, a lot of the international fam. Most of the US fam, I think I've met because I've been to Decon, I've been to New York a couple times. Met a lot of them, but yeah.
Awesome.
Good answer.
We got.
Oh, your staff.
Thank you. Whoever's that
That's
one?
awesome.
Congratulations on
Is
your fully
amazing.
sold
Thanks,
out.
Steph.
By the way, she is such an incredible individual. I got to meet her in New York.
Yeah.
And just awesome. So shout out to her. She's great.
I told you.
Billy's here. There you go.
Always invited to
Millie.
Mr. MC1 party as well.
O'Malley is funny. Do you guys, Sanjay, do you remember like the first time I started hearing O'Malley in Spaces a lot?
Yes.
Before he started hosting everything, he would always come on the Revs Do AMA, and he would like request country songs, and everyone's like, knock it out, like stop. So funny. He is a legend. Man, he cracks me up.
Yeah.
Best.
Just an amazing community, right? I think what we're kind of realizing is, hey, VeVe fam, man, how's it going? What we're realizing is what an amazing community, right? Just the overall VeVe community in Ecomi. I know there's a little bit of bashing that goes on Twitter and X and whatever, and there's these low-level skirmishes that go on between groups of people. But by and large, when you kind of think about it, it's such an incredible community. I think everybody sort of admires our community and wants to pull from our community as well. I mean, I started a group. I mean, not any shill or anything, but I started a group about a year back. I started the VeVe Gold logo group. I thought it was going to be very special. I started the group on Telegram, and today we have 186 people in it, including David here.
Nice.
186 people, and we communicate about all kinds of topics. and people connect in that group and then form subgroups for events. You know, like there was a New York group. There's one that's getting formed for the thing that's going on in France, and just, you know, what an amazing community. And these people are just so incredibly thoughtful. You know, people build merch and kind of get stuff done, like Jay Green and stuff. But, you know,
Merch.
I find myself very highly connected to the VeVe and Omi community. I don't think, I mean, I've been around a lot of different types of fandoms and communities and different types of groups and associations and clubs and country club type stuff. And I have to tell you, I really enjoy the VeVe Omi community a lot. And I think that will attract a lot more people at the right time. You know, I think this is just a tough time when there's a lot of perceptions around NFTs and there's perceptions around crypto and all that stuff. But, you know, once that kind of settles in a little bit, my sense is that we become like this preferred community, a place for people to come hang out and get it. People are coming for Omi, pick up VeVe stuff, and people are coming for VeVe, go pick up Omi stuff. And I think VeVeVerse becomes like this place that's just, you know, like a Disneyland kind of thing, you know.
I want to piggyback on that real quick. Sorry, Jordan. Where Sanjay created that gold logo group. Anyone that is either doesn't have one yet or is looking to get some stuff off their balance sheet or, you know, do some tax harvesting. If you go, there's a silent auction right now that Lori's putting on for Alcon and his First Responders Children's Foundation that David has generously donated an unredeemed card that you can get signed by him. You'll get the card from him. Not only do you get an unredeemed gold logo where it's a 10% chance of getting a sub 100, you have all of the things that are also unredeemed for not the airdrops, the redemptions for it, whether it's the golden Frankenfat or the gold version 2 silver logo, etc. But you also get a breakfast or lunch with Alcon, you and a friend. So that utility right there is incredible. Like his
tax-free too.
Yeah.
It's tax-free too. So because your check, even though you're kind of bidding on it, whatever, the check that you're writing goes directly to, you're writing the check to the foundation directly.
Yeah. So it is a tax write-off. So if you want to go and be like, hey, you know what, I've got X amount of 100,000 games over here, I could put, I think, I don't know what the bids are, but I know some of the people that are bidding that'll likely get at least 5K, if not exceed that. I think that's worth it just for the breakfast or lunch with Alcon. But it's possible that somebody goes and just writes a check for 10K just for the tax write-off, and then they get that on top of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. At queenscourtcharity.com or at queenscourtcharity at Gmail. I'm sorry.
You can also check out Laurie Brenner on Twitter. You'll find it.
Yeah, that's probably
don't write the wrong person.
I was going to say, we've got a question here. Actually, everyone on the panel except for Sanjay, I think, is a lot more in the token than the collectibles. Like I've put like $500,000 into Omi, and I've probably put in like $20,000 into VeVe. So definitely big difference in balance there. I'm still a master collector because I've got my 10 million Omi staked.
Nice.
And I've got like 150 collectibles and like 100 comics, something like that. So I got a little bit and maybe 30 sets or something. I don't know exact numbers. But I'm just on the border of I'm just a master collector. Like on some days I could potentially drop down to Diamond 1. I think Doctor Stuff, Crypto Rain and Randy, you're all master collectors as well, right?
Yeah, we should all be in the top 500 wallets. I think you need 1,300 collectibles to be in there. But
yeah, 12 something, yeah, almost 1,300. Yeah.
Well, it's not just like collectibles; it's points, right? So just because you have 1,200 collectibles, if they're all comics and they're a quarter, 0.25 points, you're not going to be master collector.
Yeah.
I had a huge debate on that apparently today.
I saw that.
Wild, trying to clarify for some people who are like, I'm not a master collector, and I have 1,200 collectibles or something, and I'm like, oh, you probably are a master collector, but like it's not how many collectibles you have. It's the points compared to other people in the space, right? And trying to clarify that. So, yeah.
Awesome. So let's see what's going on here.
And
Rain, do you have any? I was gonna say, Rain, do you have any good crypto picks other than Omi at the moment? Are you busy?
he's got
He's
this.
busy.
Well, he is on a phone call or something.
Yes.
Mr. MC1, you're in the top 100 wallets, I believe, right?
I'm 28 or 27.
Oh, that's incredible.
Have you tried to climb it, or is it just like crazy out there?
I think like I'm in a place where I've got a lot of ankle biters now. Like 10 comics, 10 collectibles behind me, so I got some heat. I've got some heat behind me. For me to go to the next level, I gotta buy like 400 or 500 something, right? So then I have 5,200 or something, close to 5,200 comics.
Wow.
The next guy is like 5,600 or something.
Hey, wow.
So it matters to me, right? Every time I fall like one slot, like when that guy Bazogi Man went from like 0 to 10,000, like whatever, I was like, I fell one slot. I'm like, what the hell happened? so every time, it kind of like like it hurts a little. You know what I mean? It hurts. These are just toys, man. They shouldn't. You know what? But there is an ego associated with it.
Well,
there is an ego associated with it. I'm just telling you.
There is.
Yeah, that's why we need that leaderboard on the VeVe app, right?
Like sure.
Because right now we have to go to that Twitter page and people don't. There's not enough visibility. But once it's there, once you open it up and there's a tab and it's like leaderboard, and then you're seeing yourself drop, you're just like you're already in the app, right? So then you're like, well, I mean, now I got to buy something. I have to buy something to maintain that. It's a psychological thing. I am obviously they are really focused on that queue system and getting that functionality rolled out because it's the foundation for like everything else that they want to do. But man, once that gets rolled out, that leaderboard should be very close behind.
Yeah, like Jordan, so if you think about it, right? If you buy uncommon or common comics, right? You get them for like $1.50 or $2 or whatever it is. Something like that, right? It's super cheap. So essentially for $20,000, you can get 10,000 collectibles.
Yeah.
Which will put you in the like the top 10 or 15 or something to 12 wallets on VeVe. So theoretically, if you really want to get there, obviously you guys have put like hundreds of thousands in Omi, right?
So get this, when we can get Omi,
when
I can use Omi in the app, that will be a game changer, right? I would be in the top 500 easy, probably in the top 100, because I wouldn't mind putting, I wouldn't mind putting 10 million, $20 million, 20 million Omi worth into the app, and so I can't wait till they enable that Omi to NFT. That'll be amazing.
David talked about it. He didn't put any dates on it, but it's almost like when he talks, he says when.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
Why would he talk about it if it's not happening, right? Like he's like, oh, when you can use Omi to buy this something. You're like, okay, well, like he's working on it. Working on it.
I think that Omi to Gem is first, though. I know Riz and everyone's excited for Omi to NFT, and that's great. But Omi to Gem's coming first, and that's where you're going to get a lot of the burn. Yes, you'll get a lot of people that burn the fees.
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar.
I mean, same thing. It's a 2-hopper instead of a 1-hopper.
Not necessarily, because Omi to NFT, like the reason is I can receive Omi selling the NFT. That's the big difference.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
Right, and so people are going to want to list in Omi. They're going to be like, look, I don't want gems. I want Omi because I don't have enough exposure to Omi until they get enough exposure.
Go in and out.
Yeah, they can kind of go in and out there. So Omi to NFT will be a big deal, but the Omi to gems will still be important because there's so many people who have a lot of crypto wealth and they don't want to convert that to fiat to then bring it into the app, but they would be willing to then convert it over. Now, I don't know how much that's going to impact things like initially, but if VeVe gains tractions, if interoperability comes, I know that that's a big thing for a lot of those crypto people. Like you could absolutely see the money rolling, but, and this is the big but, right, is that whole AML, CFT issue of money laundering and all the concerns with that they really have to get that down pat so that they are protecting themselves because they are legally liable for all those operations and stuff. So I know that they're taking quite some time on that because they don't want to miss anything.
So I have an idea for you crypto guys, right? So there's two different things. Like you guys are looking at it from the lens of a seasoned crypto guy who has a lot of Omi, who just wants the switch to be enabled so you can go and buy stuff directly with Omi and sell it and get an Omi. That is a that is an acquired taste for a very small population of people. If you think about the other problem, which is if you can make Omi one click, I know there's a problem with Apple and stuff, but if somebody builds like this trusted kind of a scenario where, let's say, I have, like, my grandmother wants to put Omi in the app, right? Or put Omi on the wallet, on VeVe's wallet. She doesn't want to go and open a MetaMask this thing and go to Bitforex to go fucking buy it and layer 1 to layer 2 and use the whole bridging and all that shit, right? If somebody has a service or a business that says, give me $8,000 or whatever, now it is $6,000, and I'll put 10 million Omi, I'll transfer 10 million Omi into your VeVe account. You don't got to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do all the thing. I'll buy the thing, right? You don't have to anything. I'll buy the Omi on the exchange. I'll move it to wherever it is. I'll move it. I'll bridge it, and I'll put it into your wallet.
I think that is something could do that right now, but
yeah,
what
exactly.
What VeVe
it's
needs,
not safe.
Though,
it's
they
not safe,
they need that. Yeah, I thought so. Solo's comment about trusted is like a bad word in crypto, but which I thought was funny. But
can VeVe stop
the thing is purchasing layer 2 Omi with a credit card.
Yeah.
That, and I've said that for the longest time, will be massive. That's your one click.
They're working that.
Oh, I can buy Omi with my credit card. Done. Like
How many people would want Omi, man? So many people would want it. Today, part of the reason people are not buying Omi is because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a 10-step complex process.
But let me share the flip side of that, because as an investor, like, I always think you want to get there before that pain point is solved, because then the prices go up massively.
No, I get that, man.
That pain point is there. And
no, but I'm
it's
just saying
great
the
that
volume
it is.
inflow becomes bigger, right? If you think about the volume of inflow that can change when you enable a one click. Like the biggest thing that you learn from an Amazon is one click. There's an orange button. It's a one click buy, man.
Buy now. Yeah.
Yeah. VeVe needs to figure out somehow, maybe it's a third party trusted bank or some service or some crypto partner or somebody, it's not like, Joe Schmo's, or whatever service, right? It's one of those things where they handle everything. All you got to do, and that partner takes $6,000 on your card and puts 10 million in your VeVe wallet. Period. All you got to do is pay them $6,000 and give them your wallet, VeVe wallet. It's done. Telling you, tomorrow there'll be a lot of people staking it.
That is what the future looks like, right? We're not there, and whether we're a year away from that or 2 years away from that simplicity, I don't know. But getting here before then is the important point. Some people have this idea, I'm going to wait till then. And if you wait till then, the prices aren't going to be where they are now.
For sure.
Why wait till then?
For sure. I mean, that your point is valid in that if you're already here, you want to figure out that stuff, so you pick it up before that. But my point is, those are levers that can move this.
Imagine it, and that's just one of the many levers. There's so many, because imagine this. Imagine I could sell my stuff for Omi. So I sell one of my collectibles and I get 1 million Omi for it. Yay, I got 1 million Omi. But then they have the bronze tickets enabled and I want to get that drop coming up. And I start burning my Omi to get that drop. And shoot, rather than having to buy Omi somewhere else and send it over, I could just put one of my collectibles up, get a bunch of Omi for it, then burn the crap out of that to get a whole bunch of bronze tickets. And the combination of what those things do together seems crazy to me. Yeah.
And you guys are talking about, I agree with you completely. You guys are talking about gaming and stuff, right? I hope someday we have gaming in VeVe, right? VeVeVerse and VeVe. So I know David's talked about it. He's openly addressed it, saying, yes, at some phase somewhere, there will be game, right? With some abilities there. If you have gaming where these ownership of these assets in the game are all where you have to go open a wallet, go to an exchange, buy some crypto, and then do this, it's going to be a pain in the ass. If you kind of have it, take out the friction. I think this entire crypto space has to figure out how to take friction out of the process. The person who takes, and time also, right? Like we were all degens, right? We'd sit and wait for the damn thing to mint, and we would wait for transactions to go through, like, for the gas fees to drop and to for this whole, transaction to go through and all that stuff. Those are all like high friction things that take, business away. Every time you have even some friction, you kind of lost some business already. And my sense is that I think that a lot of the crypto companies and these blockchain platforms are realizing that they've got to take the friction out. And the guy who takes out the most friction is the biggest winner. And even with the real world assets, RWAs I was looking at, same thing. They're basically saying, look, on our platform, we've got some technology with which we would process your transaction high volume at high speeds.
Yeah, it's 100%. I'll just give you a good example. I play Fortnite on occasion. Not much anymore. I hardly ever play video games now. But when I do, and if I like a skin, you can buy the skins in Fortnite. Obviously, they're not NFTs yet. Maybe they will be one day. But to buy it, it takes 3 seconds. You just go in, you can connect your PayPal account or you can connect your credit card. You can use Google Pay. It's like instantaneous. You can then get the skin and be using the skin in the game within like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to get Omi into the app that quickly. So I fully see your point there. Right now, going to exchanges, signing up, and then moving the money over to layer 1, then bridging it to layer 2. It's just not going to happen for 95% of people.
And
I know
even
that
when you bridge them, right? Even the most seasoned guys, when they bridge.
Oh yeah,
between
it's scary.
The time that you
it's
put
scary.
It in and between the time it shows up, don't tell me your heart doesn't skip a beat.
Oh mate, I actually, you know what I did, because I have a lot of Omi, right? I had 100 million Omi in the VeVe app, and I was bridging it back to layer 1 to put it into like a cold storage wallet.
Yeah.
But I should have done like a test amount, but I did like all 100 million Omi at once, and I thought I got the contract wrong for a little bit, and I started freaking out, and then eventually it turned up. But that was back a couple of years ago when Ethereum was really slow. It was expensive. It took and sometimes the transactions failed, right? Obviously, when it fails, it doesn't move anywhere, but still. And yeah, definitely, I'm like, hang on, did I just like get scammed? Did I get wrecked on the bridge here? And finally, it turned up like, ooh. But I was freaking out maybe 1-2 minutes. 1-2 minutes is a long time when you're freaking out. So,
I would ever do that. Not much at once, anyway.
I think I'd already done like 1 million Omi the day before as a test, but it was like a day before. Because you know why? They actually made you, I think, getting in and out, you actually have to sit it there for like 24 hours before you can move it.
Well, 2 years ago, 1 million Omi was like $7,000.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. So right, like I bought 80 million Omi more recently. At like less, I got it around 0.007 around that.
So
it
jealous.
was such a fraction of what I paid before that.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys look at stochastics and do you day trade crypto?
No.
None of us are day traders
here. The fees are too high, or what's the deal?
No, it's too stressful, man. I love Rain's ideology, and it just works at so many levels. Look, most day traders don't make money, and they might make it one day, and they might be up big one day, and then they lose it the next, right? And I talked about this in one of my videos where basically Fidelity Investments did a study to say who's the most successful people, right? Like of our customers, and they did the study, and the people who had the most significant gains in their portfolios weren't the day traders. They were the people who were either dead or their accounts hadn't been used in like over a decade, right? They just held. And they didn't day trade, and they didn't worry about that. And that stock price just over time goes up. Now there's inflation and other things that you got to take into consideration there. But like, I love the thought process of I'm going to research the crap out of certain projects. I'm going to look at their team, their tokenomics, what problem are they trying to solve in the space. And then I'm just going to buy the token at where I think it's like at a low point. And then I'm going to wait. And some of them, those are going to fail and they're going to go to zero. But the ones that are right and hit that narrative, they go bonkers. And that's where you make the millions like Rain has. So I can't handle the stress of day trading and constantly being like, what's going up or what's going down. And like, do I need to exit this position or enter? I can't handle that.
Yeah, I actually tried day trading for a while, and I did really, really well for a bunch of trades, but I was sort of like always going all in, and then I just had one bad trade. And the crazy thing was my idea was right, but it was I was trading Bitcoin, and it was when it had done a giant like crash, And if I just waited, it came straight back up and above where it was. So I actually had like the prognosis right. I got scared and emotional. And so I cut my losses and lost like majority of my money. Then I stopped day trading. That was many years ago. That was 2017 around there. So I much prefer just buying and holding, and I've done really well with that. I made lots of like over $120,000 with Tesla stock.
Wow.
I know Randy made a ton of money with Tesla stock too.
Yeah, that was easy. That was great.
It's the same thing. I was actually day trading Tesla stock for a little bit. I was making tiny bits. I didn't realize I was getting wrecked in the spread. The spread was huge, and then I end up just buying and holding that instead. And I made way more money. If I had bought and hold my Tesla stock instead of that day trading in that time period, I would have actually made like $200,000 or $300,000 instead of 120. So I like definitely learned my lesson. Like some people can day trade, but you really need to spend all your time and effort. It needs to be like a full-time gig, and I'm not committed to day trading like that. I much prefer to buy and hold.
So my challenges with this, I looked for optimal ways. And the reason I got into crypto was because like real estate, you can make a lot of money, but from top of the market to the next top of the market is somewhere between 17 to 21 years. So you might have 3 total market cycles in your whole life, and the volatility is decent. But crypto, we have this massive volatility, and from top of the market to top of the market is 4 years. And so literally so then when I was new in the space, I didn't have it figured out. It took me about 2 years to figure out most day traders do not make money. They do show their wins like, oh my gosh, but they don't show their losses. And they get wrecked all the time. Number 2, like, how do you make the most with these windows that we have? And what I've seen is I know a person with a very low IQ that has made millions of dollars from crypto. And so if there's a system where somebody with a low IQ can make millions of dollars of crypto, then that's duplicatable, right? So what does that involve? Literally buying during the bear market on projects that you've researched and you're taking good bets on, because they still are guesses. So you're taking educated guesses on them, and then you hold them till the market goes absolutely bonkers and crazy, and then you sell. And that's a system that anyone can do, because I know somebody with the sub 100 IQ that's done it. And if he could do it, anyone can do it. But like, and it literally is fairly simple, like this says, but simple doesn't mean easy, because I see all these people failing all the time. I see people selling their EcomiVerse right now to buy gaming tokens that have just 5x'd. Why? Because when you come in, your default wants you to do the wrong things. It wants you to sell what's down to roll in what just pumped, and you learn some very hard lessons. And I had to learn those when I was brand new. And the problem is most people don't stick around to become good at this long enough to actually make money at it. They go through all the rookie mistakes. They don't know who to listen to, because a lot of influencers don't even know to tell them about these pattern interrupts. Yeah. They need to do the opposite of what their instincts are telling them to do. And so they don't stick around long enough to learn how to do it right, and they're out of the game. And most people leave the space after having lost money. And it's not that they couldn't make money here. They just don't know how, and they're not doing the right things. But I always, since a kid, understood systems. What systems can you do? What systems could I use to get an A out of high school with the minimum amount of effort? It took me a while to figure out, but I figured it out. Real estate, how could I think about things so I could maximize my returns? Took me a while to figure it out, but then I figured it out. But then crypto is like everything on super steroids. It's so fast. The volatility is so high. And it took me a bit to figure it out. And then I figured it out. And that's a lot of what I talk about on my channel. And sometimes I come on this channel and everyone knows more about VeVe than me, even though I was probably the first one to do a dedicated video on VeVe. But like VeVe is just a part of my portfolio. And I love it that there's so many people I can learn from, like Randy and Dr. Stuff and others that I just like need to catch up on VeVe and Ecomi. But with that, I'm glad I could give everyone in this community like a secondary look at what is this bigger crypto thing that's happening? What is going on? And I was on a phone call when you asked me for my picks. And literally one of my most important picks right now is literally Ecomi. Because it's hard when other things have taken off and they've just 5x'd and people are like, oh, blockchain gaming. And blockchain gaming is going to be huge. It's not likely to keep going up at this rate without a pullback, because I don't think the greater bull run is here. Plus, it's already gone up 5x. So say it does like 100x total from here to the top. Well, it's already gone 5 of that. So there's only a 20x left in that. Whereas Ecomi just retraced to its previous bottom. And I would love to think like probably there's a double bottom and it won't break below this. But there's someone who might still have billions of tokens who doesn't have good things for VeVe. And so if he could sell below it and freak out a bunch of people, I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. And if that happens, it won't scare me. I'll just buy more because I believe in Dan and David, like everyone talked about before, as well as the vision of where this is going. Because imagine when they get these things rolled out and you can sell some comics for OMI, and then you can use that OMI to burn to buy bronze tickets so that you can get the Wolverine #1 drop or whatever, right? And how many people are going to do that? It's going to be a lot. So the future is really bright for this. The token is massively underpriced, and a lot of people are passing on it because it's really hard to actually buy when it's low. And when just a month and a half ago, I was covering blockchain gaming, guess what? A bunch of people weren't buying. I know a bunch of my audience was, but a bunch of people weren't. Why? Because it's hardest to buy when it's low. We literally want confirmation from everyone else that it's going the right direction. And that's the human side of us. To become a savvy crypto investor, you learn over time to override that. And that's a lot of what my channel focuses on. And VeVe and Ecomi is just a part of it. I'm trying to create a whole group of savage crypto investors that do it right so that all our friends can be millionaires.
Oh, that's great, man. That's amazing.
What a great world.
That is amazing. You know, a lot of people have misconceptions when they think about crypto, right? Mainstream people, when they think about crypto, they think about people that are extreme gamblers who are throwing money by looking at charts and just not really focused on anything else, and they're taking extreme risk. And maybe there is a population like that. But what I don't think they understand is that there's a lot of people who are very tech savvy, who read the white papers. They're not the guys who are trading, candles here up and down, day trading it. They're very sophisticated. They understand business cycles. They understand crypto cycles, and they pick stuff up, and they pick up the right stuff, and they wait. My friend, I have a very good friend of mine from, back in my days in chemical engineering. This guy, he basically, I still remember, he sent me a message saying, why don't you buy Bitcoin? And I think this was like in almost 12 years ago. And, I think it would cost me a couple $100 to buy Bitcoin. And I just laughed at it. And I told my, wife about it. I'm like, you know what? This guy's crazy. He's just like a gambler, this, that, and the other. I ain't following this. But, he now has, he has 9 thoroughbred horses that he co-owns with his business partner. And he had just before the Derby, right? They have some other races. So he had a couple of horses in those races. And, and he's just laughing at everybody else. He's like, look, man, you got the message from me. You got the message. I sent you a message to buy it. You didn't. If you'd bought it, if you'd even put like $10,000 in it, which was peanuts for you guys back then, you would have, more than 50 million today.
It's so hard to buy when it's low, right? We do want to look around and see.
It's very hard to buy. Very hard.
Yeah. There's a meme with this line of people trying to buy Bitcoin at 65,000, and then at like 15,000, like nobody's at the table, and that just is really how it is, right? So people right now on OMI, they're scared to death. Why? Yeah. Because it's cheap. Yeah. And that's when people like me, and I'm not new to investing, that helps. And I can't understate that. Like I was investing 20 years prior, and many of you have amazing investing backgrounds. Randy's like caught massive thing after massive thing way ahead of time, buying when it was boring, essentially, just like instinctually. And many of you have done, like you've done amazing things in business, but buying when it's boring is the hardest. And the people who become really savage crypto investors with amazing gains learn how to read the fundamentals behind it, see if there really are fundamentals, dismiss the sentiment and all the people freaking out, and then buying, and then watching and waiting. So like I was an early investor in Axie Infinity, and the first 18 months it did absolutely terrible from when specifically their land launched in January 2019, and everyone looks back and says, oh, I would have totally bought that. But the truth is they wouldn't have, because it went down for 18 months. And there was all these people who bought land with me. Guess what they did? They all sold. They freaked out like it's going to zero and sold. And then it went like literally 3,000x gains. Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of people are like, I totally would have bought that, but maybe you would have bought it, but would you have bought it and held it past the FUD?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I looked at a chart, by the way. I looked at an OMI chart from like, you know, you have the max, you know, you have like 1 day, 1 month, one whatever max, and it shows you the percentage gain. Do you know what OMI, at least what I saw, and probably somebody has to check it, but this is what I saw from the guys who originally got OMI and, you know, when it first came out to where it is today. Do you know what that percentage increase is? What it showed me on the screen?
2,000%? Around that?
Not today, no.
17,000%.
Wait, the guys who originally
like the early, right? Like just take go to CoinGecko or whatever, right? Take the OMI and just go max and see what the percentage it shows you. Very high. Either which way, it's very high.
This price is still high. Yep.
Wait, from the beginning of OMI till now, and for the beginning of OMI till now?
If you look at 2021, I think Ecomi was the best performing token.
Oh, okay. You're talking about just the max of what it was, not what it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was OMI was the best performing token of 2021. I believe Dr. Stuff did that research.
1 second.
Wow.
Let me show you this, right? So this is.
Is that right, Dr. Stuff?
I was responding to the person on Twitter who continues to claim that somehow they are an investor in the token when they bought from the secondary market, even though I substantially refuted that. So what was it, 2021? What was the question?
I think
compared
was the best
to the
performing
all-time
token.
low.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. About 4 years ago. If you bought it 4 years ago, you're up 17,000%.
Oh yeah, and that's like part of my argument, right? Is like if you're saying that
you gotta buy it when it's low, man. Like, and you gotta. I think the other thing is also you gotta pick up shit when it's early. You gotta be the first guy in the door, or the first 10 guys in the door, or the first 100 guys. In the door.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Depends. Look, so I'll give you a perfect example, right? So one of the tokens that I did a lot of research on was this token called the Gene token.
What's it called?
Super exciting.
Gene?
It's called Gene.
How do you spell it?
Gene. Gene.
G-E-N.
And it's decentralized science. Okay, and so they came on Rain's channel. We talked about them. Like I thought it was a phenomenal example, right? So when they did the launch, I bought the token. Totally got wrecked. I mean, it went from I put in like $2,000. And that $2,000 went down to like $50 within like 5 months, right? So like I was early, if you will, but the thing is it was like dead for forever. The daily trading volume got to like $3 at some days, and then it's revived, and it's almost up to like the value that it was when I bought it at. So like it depends. You can do pre-seed, right? And sometimes you can be early that way and you can get in at those lower points. But if you got in when he bought in, like as a pre-sale investor on OMI, it dropped below what he got in at. And then people had bought there, right? So it's all about the timing. And that's that buy when it's boring, that bear market. You find those fundamentally strong projects and you wait for people to FUD the crap out of it and then say, I still think it's got a great chance of doing well. And so, I've done the research. I think they're still making money. They're doing these things. It's got a strong use case. You buy the token then, and that's where you get the crazy multiples. If you had bought on that daily trading on that Gene token at the $3 or something to where the token is now, I think it's like, I'll have to look, but I think it's like at least like a 50x from where you bought at, right? So
are you guys ready? We have a special guest.
Let's get this bread.
Yeah!
I love this game.
Yeah, congratulations, community manager, engagement.
Oh my gosh, someone from the Ecomi team is on the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
This is great.
Oh boy.
FA appearance as employee.
Yeah. You know what? And shout out to Jordan. He's been on the war path trying to get me on here for a while though, and I respect the amount of effort that he's put into getting me on here. Obviously, I was kind of in limbo land there for a little bit, so I was holding off on things and couldn't tell him why. So I was kind of not being rude to him, but kind of just like, sorry man. And but no, I'm glad that I was able to make this work. Usually it's you guys do this all the time around when I'm eaten and put my kids to bed. So, but I definitely told the wife that
So you got
tonight we were going to make some time
and
and come hang out with the fam. So
you got an acceptance speech or something like
an acceptance speech.
Yeah, like the president
nothing drafted yet.
Out the balcony and says something, right? Like what do you got to say, Foster? Come on.
Yeah, they didn't give me a budget quite yet to hire a secretary to write those things, but no, it's I just put out a post actually right before I hopped on here, and
we made you big. You're now the center of the.
Oh,
stream.
geez.
Let's go. Acceptance speech. Come on. This is like so what would you do over the next 4 years kind of speech, man.
Yeah. So we're not going to make any promises here. We're not going to spill any alpha necessarily, but sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone that has supported me on this journey up until this point. I mean, obviously, this is going to mark a little bit of a change from me in my role and how I interact with the community and in my responsibilities surrounding the information that comes from the Ecomi side. But I feel very fortunate and grateful to have built up so many relationships with so many people in this community. And it really is an incredible place to be. It's a family at the end of the day. And we might fight and we may be upset when things maybe aren't going the way that we want them to. But at the end of the day, it's really incredible. And I've just been absolutely inundated with people messaging me and congratulating me and things, and just way more than I had ever expected. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, but at the same time, it's just been it's been absolutely incredible, and I feel very grateful and also very honored at the same time. I know that it's an incredible responsibility, and I recognize what's on the line for everyone involved. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing my absolute best to live up to that expectation that I'm sure will be put in place for me. So I'm looking forward to and I'm up for the challenge, and I'm excited to see where it takes us.
So I have one follow-up question for you, Foster. Are you taking some or all of your compensation in OMI?
That's a great question.
I told Jordan before I came on here, no tough questions. So I won't get into the compensation, but obviously working for Ecomi, I very much believe in the token. And so I will say that much. Obviously, I wouldn't have taken the job if I didn't believe in the token, in the direction that I believe that things would be headed. Not even necessarily, not from a financial perspective. This isn't me, indicating any price or anything like that, but just in general. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, the OMI token is a utility token, and I believe that that if and when that utility is added to it, that it will be something that a lot of people will want to utilize for those intended purposes. So, I'm really excited. It's it's obviously it's not news to me, but I know it's news to a lot of people. So I'm kind of digesting it all for the first time as well. And I don't want to go into it with any kind of preconceived notions or expectations. Obviously, coming from the community, I think I'm in a very unique position where I understand what people want, and I know that I've been permanently optimistic about OMI and how I felt about the token up until today when I'm transitioning roles, and I don't intend to take anything away from that transitioning into this role. And I've seen some comments on social media, and I think there might be some misconceptions from people about what the role entails. So if you don't mind, I might just take 30 seconds just to kind of clarify that for some people. So obviously I've been brought on as the community manager for Ecomi, primarily dealing with matters of the OMI token, any announcements that come surrounding any utilities or partnerships that may or may not come for it. So, obviously I believe in the token, and that's my personal opinion, but when I'm conveying information and messages, as an official representative of Ecomi, I'm basically talking about all of the team that's behind me that are doing the work behind the scenes, and I'm just simply here, reiterating and regurgitating the information that they're providing behind the scenes, right? Like they're really the rock stars. Like I may be the public face or the person that's talking about it a lot of the time, but there's a ton of people that are putting in phenomenal work behind the scenes that also very much believe in the token and want to support its success. So it's been really an eye-opening experience to be onboarded into the project and be able to see kind of all the work that goes into all the things that are being worked on. So obviously I can't get into too much specifics, and that's something that I think that will people will get used to as well is that, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, we have a roadmap or we have all this, right? Like, of course we do, but I'm not going to sit here and just start talking about all these, because they're tired of hearing talking, right? They want to see results. And that is very clear. I'm very much aware of that coming into this position. And I understand that it's you know, I have big shoes to fill. I understand that there's been a lot of frustrations, and you know, people are looking to see a lot of things from the EcomiVerse token, and I can say confidently that the team are aware of those things. They're aware of what the people want, and you know, no matter how much time it takes to get some or all of the things that people want, at the end of the day, I'm here to support that and to also be the voice for the community, between the community and the team. This isn't a one-sided thing where, you know, I'm just conveying information to the community or whatever the case may be, but I'm also taking feedback from the community, from not just content creators or influencers, but from anyone in the community that wants to reach out to me, that has ideas or has opinions, even if they're not positive. I'm not here to gatekeep or prevent anyone from sharing ideas that they believe can benefit the project. And I think the other important thing to clarify as well is I understand that VeVe also has a community manager role that they've put out and posted. I am not in that role. I'm working specifically for Ecomi as the community manager. I do believe that they still have a posting out, or it may not still be out, but they are actively looking at putting someone into that role. They're two separate roles. So I don't represent VeVe. I don't speak on anything related to, you know, drops or issues related to VeVe. I specifically focus on Ecomi and the Omi side, but obviously I'll be looking to work closely with those individuals as they are onboarded, as things become more aligned, as things roll out. So,
you know what I'm super excited about? You are the perfect person in that role, and I look forward to, it's going to be a year from now or whatever. There's a certain big channel that uses a sentiment indicator. And when VeVe fell off, or Ecomi fell off their sentiment indicator, they went all weird, and Foster did an epic response and takedown of a really kind of unthought out stuff. So I look forward to a year and a half ago. Do you think that network is going to be big enough to have Foster come on the channel once VeVe and Omi hit their sentiment indicator in a major way in the future?
You know what? And I think that
have Foster join and be like, oh, mea culpa, Foster, tell us what's going on at Ecomi.
You know what? And I think that that's important too, because I think that, you know, I've seen a couple of people post not specifically about that, but just about other things. And I kind of really want this to be a blank canvas and to people to go into it with an open mind, because I also understand that while there's a lot of people in the community that have supported me in my journey, there's also a ton of people who, A, don't even know who I am, and B, you know, maybe weren't my biggest fans for one reason or another. And not to say that a lot of those reasons weren't justified either. I mean, I've been learning in this space as with everyone else, and I've made my fair share of missteps up to this point, and I've done my best to take accountability for that and be responsible. But at the same time, I understand that in the role that I'm in now, it's important, like I said, to take all the information. It's not just, hey, these 5 people are super positive and bullish, let's only take what they have to say. It's everyone is valuable, and everyone's a part of the community, and everyone has feedback. And to be honest, a lot of the times the most constructive things come from maybe not the most positive people, because they're giving it to you straight, right? They're not looking at it from a skewed sense of judgment or whatever the case may be. So, you know, to whoever that person was that you might have been referencing, or to anyone else for that matter, you know, I really want to extend that olive branch, and it's important for me to recognize that as an official representative of Ecomi, like it's my duty, it's my responsibility to be open to that, because my job is to get Ecomi and the Omi token into the wider space and have more people become aware of it and want to come into the ecosystem, and not to gatekeep and say, you know, hey, you said a mean thing about me one time, and, you know, we're not going to interact anymore. And I think with that as well, I think one of my plans, and obviously my personal Twitter account is my personal account. You know, I won't be sharing anything kind of, you know, related. Hey, there's this update that you need to be aware of. That'll all be coming through the official Ecomi socials. But at the same time, I know a couple of people had expressed concerns about not being able to see things that I'm saying now, and they're wanting to. And I'll probably go back and unblock everyone that I had blocked historically on my Twitter account. Because like I said, I want everyone to feel as though that this is a clean slate. No, it's honestly, it doesn't bug me, Jordan. And if it comes to the point where, you know, conversations
Presidential
had, I'll always have a respectful discourse with people, but if it comes to the point where, personal attacks or things will be happening, then that'll just be reverted to the way that it was before, right? But I think, everyone deserves to have this information and everyone deserves to feel welcome in the community. And I'm hoping that this will kind of kickstart kind of a new renewed sense of energy towards the OMI token in the entire ecosystem. And, like I said, I'm not going to throw out timelines or I'm not going to throw out time frames or any of that stuff, but hopefully people understand that part of the premise of bringing me on is that, hopefully there is some stuff to talk about, right? Because otherwise, what am I going to do all day? So, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to have some things to share with you guys, in the community as a whole. And I'm looking forward to being able to do that and then, getting feedback as things roll out and then progressing as such.
So what can we do to best support you though, right? So it'd be great to know, how can the community support you with what you're doing, if you know that already?
Yeah. So, obviously I'm still getting my feet wet in this position. This is obviously my first official day on the job. So I think for me, one of the things that's going to help the most and what I'm going to be looking for is as the bridge between the team as a whole and the community, I'm going to be looking for feedback from people on ideas that either haven't come yet or things that we are releasing and how they are experiencing those things, and then being able to gauge that community sentiment based on different features and things like that. So I think that'll be my biggest thing. And like I said, those can come from organized things. If Randy's hosting a live stream and he puts notes together because he gets, an overwhelming response to something specific from his specific community, and he wants to pass that on to me, or individual people that are in the stream think about something and they want to reach out to me. My job is to interact and engage with everyone, right? So I'm definitely going to be doing that as much as I can. I just hope people respect and understand that, if you're asking me when exchange listings or anything like that, and I'm not responding to you, it's not because I'm trying to be rude, but I have nothing to offer you in that, right? Like all of that stuff will be done through the official socials. And when those announcements go out, if people have questions about those specific announcements, they can reach out to me or anyone on the team that is publicly available. But I think for me, it's really just going to be about, if there are any differences between anyone in the community, it's really about coming together. Because I would like to think that everyone that's in this community right now that's still here wants to see the project succeed. Even if there's different routes or avenues they believe that it will take to get to that point, everyone is here because they believe in the project. So for me, that gives you, that's your green truck right there. Like you have earned the right to be able to provide your opinion. And once again, even if I don't agree with it, I'll still pass it along. I'm not the one making the decisions, right? But I'm here to advocate for the token, for the project, and be able to support the community and understand the wants and needs of the community and try and pass that along in the most efficient and effective manner to deliver those things. So
I do have one question, Foster. Are you going to be showing up on the Ecomi YouTube channel at some point?
I imagine that I will. We're going to be putting out some content relating to how to do different things with different stuff, people, places, things, all that kind of fun stuff. And so there'll be some walkthroughs and guides of different things that's
amazing, man, because we actually had people earlier, like Sanjay was saying earlier, Mr MC1, that he actually watched some of your walkthrough videos, and he said you are so good at explaining everything. And so it's come full circle now that you're going to be actually on the Ecomi YouTube channel, actually, doing the same sort of thing, but in an official capacity. It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to lose out on that $6 a month in AdSense revenue. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know about that, man. But your video was really
are you stoked? Is this sort of like your dream job or dream position?
You know what? It's really cool. And actually, I might take a moment to discuss that. So this was never, when I joined the community, this was never like, oh my gosh, I need a job like this one day. I mean, for those of you that have been following me in my journey, you know that I'm in law enforcement, and that's something that I went to school for, post-secondary for 5 years. And it's something that I've been doing for well over a decade now. And, I joined this community out of passion and the love for what it represented and what I believed in. And so it was really cool when this opportunity, manifested itself, because it was really out of left field, and I wasn't expecting it. And I think that sometimes some of the things that happen in life that are the most special are the things that you're not expecting or that you're not over invested in trying too hard to accomplish. So back in 2017, I think it was now, I had been interviewed for and secured a job with Shopify. And for those of you that know what Shopify is, Shopify back in 2017 is not what Shopify is now. Now, granted, they've maybe had a little bit of a rough year on the stock side, but they're still a behemoth of a company. And so I'd gone through the interview process. I had accepted the job, and then I had been offered a job in the career that I'm in now. And having both of those jobs on the table, I picked the job that I'm in now. And part of me always regretted that decision, not just because of what Shopify became, but just because it was always a job that I thought would be very interesting and that I could be very passionate about. And not to say that I'm not passionate about the 9-to-5 that I do now, but it was very uniquely tailored to what I believe that I brought to the table. So when this opportunity came up and I was discussing it with my wife, I said, I don't think that I can afford, not from a financial perspective, but I don't think I can afford from who I am as a person to pass up on another opportunity when a part of me has always regretted not taking it the first time. And I'm a firm believer that you often don't get a second chance in life of this magnitude. And so I wasn't going to pass up on that opportunity, and I was going to do anything and everything I could to make sure that I could make it work. And, kudos to my wife for being absolutely incredibly supportive of me. And allowing me to have this opportunity. I knew that there was going to be a lot of headaches, and I was going to be on my phone a lot more, and maybe not get to spend as much time with my family. But she's been an absolute rock, and I feel extremely grateful. This entire process, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but it's just been absolutely incredible. And like I said, it all manifested from something I just never even saw coming. And now that I'm here, I feel like I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Awesome. That's really exciting.
Welcome, Foster. We're so excited to have you in that position.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Wow, that's epic.
Likewise, man.
That was epic.
I love your articulation skills too. In that whole debate that was going on, I was like, this guy is so smart and can articulate positions so well. I love the way he thinks. That's when my respect for you, I was like, gosh, this guy is hyper intelligent. I like him.
And I personally, I think that VeVe is very, very, very fortunate to have someone like you in the role. I know this whole narrative seems like coming across from you as you're lucky to have this job, but honestly, I think VeVe is very lucky, very fortunate to have someone of your caliber here. So excited for you. You're the perfect guy for the job. And just on that video, I'm glad you brought up Jordan. As I went through the sort of process of picking up, I'd bought other stuff on the exchange before, but not Omi, and Omi's a little different. And I really, really, really enjoyed that video. And it was so easy, just, buying that Omi on the exchange and the whole spot versus whatever, bringing it back and then, bridging it into the app and stuff like that. Your video was the best, finest video, no hiccups, nothing. It was so clear. You did a phenomenal job. And, just kind of goes to show that if you can make something so complex and explain it in such an easy manner, we're very, very lucky to have you, man. You're going to do a fine job here.
Thank you. And I will be making additional content relating to content that I had previously made on my personal channel. And I will be re-uploading that on the Ecomi channel. So whether it's just taking the videos and re-uploading them as Ecomi videos, or making them even more concise, which I think is the route that I'm likely going to go. Because I want that information to be available and easily accessible for everyone. And I think that, one of the overarching themes, we talk about, someone has an idea, different idea, but we talk about overarching themes. And I think one of the themes that's really resonated with me, especially when it's come to issues in the community over the last couple of years, has been communication. And it's either been lack of communication or confusing communication. So what I want to do is set the bar from the jump that the things that I can communicate, I will 100% communicate, and I will take all the time to communicate them and do the best that I can to communicate them in a manner that is understandable and digestible and helpful for people, with the balance of the certain things that I can't communicate. There are reasons behind why they can't be communicated. And I think one of the things that's made me, very grateful about taking on this role is that as someone who made content prior to this position, and as someone who had been in the community for as long as I had been, I was with a lot of people where I never really understood, why can't we talk about this? Why can't this come out and whatever? And I can't talk about why now, obviously, but I understand it better now. And I hope, for what it's worth, that anyone that knows who I am as a person knows that I'm a straight shooter, or at least I like to think of myself as a very honest person who, tells it like it is. And so, what I can say confidently right now is that there's reasons for those things, and there are resolutions for those things. And I think that put my mind at ease quite a bit about the fact that, what I will say is it became very evident to me after joining that Omi was not gone and it hadn't been forgotten, is what I will say. And that was a relief to me, because coming into a position like this, when you know that you're going to be in the public eye and expected to communicate all of the happenings or not happenings surrounding something, I didn't want to sit here for the next 12 to 18 months and be just constantly berated by when questions or people's frustrations, right? Like, I wanted to be able to come in and be able to deliver on the things that people want. And I feel like I'm in that position currently. So
I just have a quick question here. Are you going to the France event, the crypto one?
So currently I am not in the works to be going to that event, but that's a long time away, and some things could change. Like I said, still getting my feet wet in the position, and those conversations I'm sure will be had at some point. But I know that David and Dan are both going, and to be honest, I think you'd probably want them there over me anyways. So because they're definitely the biggest champions you could hope for something like that. So I know that they will be there, and on a personal level, I might try and make an effort to get out there, just because, even if it's not on company time, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now, the answer is no, but it's definitely subject to change.
So, Foster, I just want to say one thing when you're talking about, and I love that you're going to communicate whatever you can communicate. I obviously understanding regulatory things that are going on in the background with crypto. I also would love for the Ecomi team, just like, if there's certain things that can't be talked about right now, that is just communicated. Hey, I know that people are wondering about this. We will be able to talk about it. We can't talk about it right now. There's some things that are happening. Just addressing the fact, letting people know, hey, we hear you, but there's reasons why we can't share those right now. Mm-hmm. You're still going to get some people who will not accept that answer, but I think most reasonable people will say, I've been heard. And that's such a big deal, right? And so, anyways, if that can just be passed along, I think that will go so far with the community, and just being like, okay, at least they are aware of the concerns, and yep, they'll tell us when they can.
Yeah, no, totally. I agree with you, and I think as I get more involved in the role, and as things become, as I get settled in, I guess I'll say, I definitely look forward to being able to have those conversations and convey that information. And I think for me, part of me is kind of hoping that I don't have to give a reason why not. I can just give something, right? So at the same time, it's that balance. So I'm hopeful that we're moving in the right direction now. But once again, we've all learned, because we've all been there. Time frames are your absolute worst enemy. Because until something's ready to go and is actively delivered, it really serves no benefit. And especially at this point, I think historically we've learned that ends up biting us more than it helps us. So for sure, I think for the things that can be communicated, they will. And for the things that can't be communicated within reason, there needs to be some communication around why they can't. And I agree with you. And I echo and understand those frustrations. So yeah, no, definitely, I agree.
Awesome.
Before I ask my question, Rain said he had to go. He apologizes, but he had to bounce. He did a nice little wardrobe change in between there. I don't know if anyone saw.
He's going to disco.
He seemed like that open button shirt.
No, Foster, you have to stop dressing like like showing off your body. You're gonna have to dress more conservatively now that you are in a position of power. But my question was, so David has let us know that he hired a blockchain team. I don't know if he knew how many. I don't want to ask you that, but are you working with them in any capacity?
Yeah, so I won't speak to specific numbers, because I'd like to at least get through my first week without getting fired. But I will say that they exist, definitely. And working with them, my responsibility is communications. So at the end of the day, my job is to understand all of the pieces to the puzzle and how they fit together. And then my job is to communicate them in a manner in which they are easily understandable and digestible. So as a part of that, I'm aware of what is being worked on to an extent. I'm sure that there's things that I'm not aware of as well. But for the things that are actively being worked on and you know are internally being aimed to be done, yeah, I'm aware of them, and I am aware of the people that are working on them. And like I said, it's been a very eye-opening experience. And the thing that I'll continue to offer to people, and take it with a grain of salt, it is what it is. The people that are working on things are aware of the concerns. They're just as eager, if not more eager than anyone in the community to deliver on them, because they're the ones that are getting the heat on it, right, at the end of the day. And yeah, so they're aware of what people want, and I was very happy to see that. And you know, I thought I was going to be coming in and having to give people a bunch of feedback about all the things that I had learned, and I was hearing about things, and I was like, oh no, you are very much aware and on top of what the community's concerns are and how best you feel that you can address those concerns. And then once those concerns are addressed, I will be able to come out and communicate and convey how those things are being addressed. And then we'll get feedback from the community. Are you happy with how these are being addressed? Are you happy with this utility? Are you happy with this partnership? Are you happy with X, Y, Z? And if you are, then great. And if you're not, then you let me know why not. And then we can circle back and we can review this and we can make this the best thing that we want it to be. And I think that that's really the important piece that might have been missing, is that there really was very little communication coming from the Ecomi side, even though things were being worked on in the background. And I said, even for me, you know, how did I know, right? Because no one was letting me know. Like you said, Dr. Stuff, like how do we know what's being worked on, right? And so I'm here to tell you that it is. And, you know, like I said, I understand that people have said things before. So people will take that for what it is. And that's why I'm a firm believer that actions speak louder than words. And so I would rather not just sit here and tell you for the next 12 months that, don't worry, guys, things are being worked on. I'd like to show you what is being worked on. And so my hope that that ends up being the case and that it plays out the way that I'm hoping to. And I think as the announcements start to come out and people start to see that this is in fact happening, I think that collective minds will be put at ease a bit. But I understand right now, a ton of people are skeptical. And to be honest, I don't blame you. I'm just a talking head on a computer screen. Like, you know, like what is that, right? So, no, I get it. So I'm looking forward to what's next.
Also, I know you've got to go soon. So yeah, we'll try and wrap it up in the next 5 or so minutes.
Oh wow, we've been here for 2. Oh god, I gotta go soon too. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, we're almost at 2 hours of this stream.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's nothing your time, Randy.
Okay. I'm sorry. I guess the last one then.
Any last questions for Foster, guys?
Yeah, just one last one for me. You mentioned having to know all the pieces that fit together like a puzzle. Because OMI is now OUP is now forming with MCP, creating utility. Does that mean you're working with the MCP point team as well?
You're breaking up.
Okay.
You're breaking up. No comment. I don't know what we're supposed to say here. No, you know what I will say. Like I said, I will reiterate the fact that the teams are very much aware of what the community wants, and I think as a part of that, once again, like I'm not gonna. I really want to avoid, as excited as I can be as a person, and you know I smile and I'm happy and whatever. I really want to avoid getting people like super excited, right? Like I don't want to set, like I would rather under promise and over deliver, right? Like that is very much what I would rather do. So what I will say is that, you know, obviously having things be harmonious. I mean, the OMI token has always intended to be used in the VeVe app. It's not a surprise. That's why it was created, right? So, you know, returning those utilities to the platform is obviously a priority. So as a byproduct of that, if programs are being amalgamated and being, you know, brought together, you know, there would likely be benefits associated with that. But when that time comes, or if that time comes, then those things will be announced and conveyed at that point.
Awesome. That's exciting. We got a couple of
minutes.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
We got a couple of minutes till we're at 2 hours.
we're pretty much there.
How are you guys feeling just in general? Not necessarily about my announcement or anything, but I missed the first part of the stream. So how is everyone's mood right now? How are we feeling? Are we feeling okay? We're feeling
Yeah, I think Sanjay sort of made us way too excited about Omi. People been buying it in the chat, in the comments. People been buying Omi just in our stream. I hear it's already starting to move up. People doing hashtag Foster effect, but
I just need to get a not financial advice tattoo plastered across my forehead. And like I said, guys, like I really like it's hard for me because I love this community. I'm so passionate about this community, and I think anyone that's known me for an extended period of time just knows that I absolutely love this project. So for me, this has really just been a dream come true, like you were saying, Jordan. And even though it wasn't a plan, it's just like I'm just ready to explode. You know what I mean?
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you. Like that's really awesome. And I can't wait to meet you and everyone else in the US at one of these events. It'd be cool. So I'm guessing you might be at one of the next Comic Cons like next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to be out at all of the events that I can reasonably make it out to. If I can, I'll try and get out to all of them because I think that there's definitely a need for it. Like it would be nice to have some Omi representation, and obviously this is me just talking on a personal level because I haven't heard one way or another, but like would Marvel want someone from the Omi team there or not? I don't know. Maybe I show up and I'm just helping out the VeVe team or whatever the case may be, but everyone really wants to see this project succeed, and I would love to be able to be there to celebrate, because I mean Sanjay has hosted some amazing parties and events to celebrate the community, and I've met most of you here at those events and been able to spend time with you, and it's really hard to not want to be there. And it's almost infectious, the energy when you're at something like that. So thinking back to New York and all the events that we had there, I mean, like I said, even if I wasn't there on a professional level, I would definitely do my best to show up on a personal level, just because it just makes all the difference to be surrounded by like-minded people that are passionate and excited about the things to come.
Foster, one thing I wanted to share with you is, as much as we are, keen to see development on the Omi token, I think communication is the 50% of it. That's equally important, because I was telling all of these guys, look, I trust David and Dan. When David came on and said, we're going to do this, this, and this, basically there's an event, and after that they can, start talking or whatever. To me, I believe that they're building. But I think, there's going to be BF and AF, before Foster and after Foster or whatever, like after Foster gets the job kind of thing. And I think that don't underestimate that role, man. Like, I think your communication can enable, the smooth, reception of everything that's going on in the space, It's a very important role because the people who are building. I'm confident they're building really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming, Foster. I want to wrap it up now. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for coming as well. Everyone to go follow Mr MC1 .eth on Twitter as well. Thanks, Dr. Stuff, the real Randy Chavez. And again, Foster Hill, thanks for coming on. I know it's last second. I just sort of asked you. And yeah, it's really good for you to take your time and come on here. I'm so happy for you. And I think you're a great fit for this role. And the whole community really is very happy. I've seen one negative comment out of 100. So you got a pretty high hit rate there. So I think maybe there's not going to be too much fun. So yeah, awesome. Thanks everyone for coming on. And yeah, next, make sure you stay tuned for next week, and have a lovely day, guys.